Hi guys, welcome back to High Yield Intraday Trading. I hope everybody is doing good. So the topic that we are going to discuss today is something called as the inside range gap breakouts. Okay, now please remember that this is not the gap trading that we do normally, like the gap ups and the gap down tradings that we do. This is something different. Okay, so let me put a small disclaimer first before I start with the topic. This method is not similar to the traditional gap up tradings or gap down tradings that we do. Okay, so this cannot be considered as a full-fledged trading strategy. The reason why I'm saying this is because this would require some good observation skills, which normally is seen in people who are a bit experienced in trading. Okay, so once you are done watching this video, I would request you to go ahead and observe and link whatever has been told in this video with the charts. Okay, try understanding the observation factor that I have been emphasizing on since quite some time. Okay, so coming back to the main topic, the reason why anybody would want to trade the inside range gap is to catch a good breakout in intraday trading. Okay, because often these patterns lead to big breakouts, and as an intraday trader, if we can catch these type of patterns, then we can make some good amount of money out of them. Okay, now the thing to note here is we need to have an eye on the present day and the previous day's chart. Okay, and coming to the amount of gap to be considered, the gap up or gap down openings should be small and not big ones. Okay, when I say small, I mean for a 700 rupees script, if you get a gap up opening of let's say 2 to 3 rupees, then we can consider that script for having an eye on. Okay, but if your 700 rupees script gives you a gap up or gap down opening of 5 to 6 rupees, then we should be avoiding it. Okay, also you need to see that the inside range gap that is formed, that is the gap up that is forming today, should be above the previous day's close and below the previous day's high. Okay, the name itself is inside range gap because the gap up and gap down that is forming today is within the range of the previous day. Okay, and when we say range is nothing but the high and low of the previous day. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now the way you should be trading this is when you see that there is an opening with the inside range gap, have a note of that script. Okay, that is the first thing that you need to do. Once that is done, you need to mark the previous day's high and the previous day's low. Okay, we will take the example of a gap up opening here. So that is the reason we are marking the previous day's high. Okay, when you trade the gap down opening having an inside range gap, then you need to mark the previous day's low. Okay, so coming back to this example, once you mark the previous day's high, we need to wait for the previous day's high to be breached. Okay, so your entry should be above the previous day's high. So let's say you're trading a script whose current market price is 510 rupees on Friday, and Thursday's high was 513 rupees. Okay, so you need to wait for 513 to be breached and then you take your long entry, not before that. Okay, to be more effective, you can very well place a stop loss buy order at around 513.20 or 513.25, whatever you feel like. Okay, but place it just above the previous day's high. Okay, I hope this is clear as well. Now coming to the stop loss, you can place your stop loss at today's low or yesterday's latest swing low or at yesterday's low. Now you can come up with the question as to the stop loss will be quite big in this case. Okay, I would say you're right, the stop loss can be big enough. Okay, but you need to decide which stop loss is more effective by seeing the candlesticks. Okay, this is something that depends on you, because I really cannot ask you to keep a stop loss of 10 rupees if you are trading a 500 rupees script. It is simply not practical when it comes to day trading, right? But let's say, for example, if you see that today's low or yesterday's low or yesterday's latest swing low is at 5 rupees, then you can very well put a 5 rupees stop loss for a 500 rupees script and take up the trade. Okay, and now coming to the target. The target, as usual, depends on you. you can aim for a you can aim for a 1% move, which I normally aim for, or even more. If you see some really good volume building up, then why not? It can surely cross more than 1% of the script price. So you can have that, or you can set that as your target. Okay, and the people who are looking for 4 to 5% moves, I would request them not to forget that you are into intraday trading, and catching a 1% move is a huge deal when it comes to day trading. Okay, I'm not saying that it is not possible, but for sure it is not possible in every trade that you make. Okay, so the guys with such expectations can stay away. Okay, because you are a single person, and it is simply not possible for you to scan multiple scripts and make the right entry in every script. Okay, so it's very practical that if you catch one good move, you are bound to miss another good move. Okay, of course, unless and until they happen at the same time. Okay, but the point that I'm trying to make here is you cannot be greedy and you cannot be stubborn that I will catch a 3 to 4 to 5% move and then only I will book my profits. That is wrong. Okay, people who do that very well know how the market teaches them a lesson. Okay, so just a word of caution to you guys, so that you guys can always be at the safer side of your trades while you are earning money. And most importantly, you should be doing a stress-free trade. You cannot be stressed out, you cannot be tensed when you are into a trade. Okay, so if you want to accept this suggestion, take it or leave it. Okay, now the reason why we are expecting the inside range gap to work is whenever a stock opens at a price higher than the previous day's close, this small gap is likely to attract additional buying. Okay, now there are many reasons to it, like it will show up in the various scanning programs, in the various scanning softwares, okay, that people use, which identifies the percentage gainers or even the gap up openers or the gap down openers. Okay, and these scanning results are being used by the active traders who then buy shares. Okay, so more is the buying, obviously the stock price will go up, and if we have some institutional buying or selling happening on that stock on the very same day, then it would be kind of a lottery for you. Okay, because it can go up or it can come down to any extent on that particular day. Okay, so that was the brief about the theoretical explanation about the inside range gap. Okay, now let me take you to the chart, okay, so that you can be more clearer. So I was trying to find an example. I found Biocon. Okay, so this is Biocon. This is 30th. This is 30th of November, and this is 29th of November. Okay, so as I said, we need to concentrate on the present day. So we will take Friday as the present day and the previous day, that is Thursday. Okay, so first thing first. The first thing that we need to see here is the gap up opening that is happening on Friday should be in between the previous day's range, right? So what is the previous day's range? That is yesterday's high, that is Thursday's high, and Thursday's low, right? So this is the range for Thursday, and the gap up opening that happened on Friday falls between these things, right? So this is a valid thing. Now the second thing which we need to concentrate is how much gap up has Biocon given. Okay, so the previous day's close was at 603.10 rupees, and Friday's opening was at 606 rupees, right? So it was a 2 rupees 90 paisa gap up that happened, which is fair enough. Okay, we can consider a 2 rupees 90 paisa gap up for trading the inside range gap breakouts. Okay, so these two prerequisites are met right now, so we know that we can have an eye on Biocon for Friday. Okay, now the next thing is, where should be our entry? As I said, our entry should be only after the yesterday's high is breached. Okay, so let me put a horizontal line there so that it can be more, it is more clearer. Okay, so this is yesterday's high, so we make an entry only after this point is breached. Okay, so what is the cost? 610.55 was yesterday's high, so we take an entry only after 610.55 is breached. Okay, so which candle? This green candle is the one which breaches yesterday's high. Okay, and as I always suggest, you should not be trading in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the market opening, so we avoid the first two to three candles, and exactly at the fourth candle in this example. Okay, it will not hold good for every example. So in this example, the fourth candle is the candle which is breaching the yesterday's high. Okay, now remember, you have to always wait for the closure of that particular candle. Okay, because only after the candle closes you will actually come to know whether yesterday's high has been breached or not. Okay, so there is no way that you are taking an entry at this green candle. You can take the entry at the next candle, anywhere in the next candle. Okay, so in the worst case scenarios, normally if you go ahead with the market order, it happens all the time with all the traders that the entry is taken at the highest price when you go long. Okay, so let's consider the worst case scenario here. Okay, so in the worst case, your entry will be at this candle's high. This candle's high is 612 rupees, right? So let's consider that your long entry has been executed at 612 rupees. Okay, now you are inside the trade. Now coming to the stop loss, I told you earlier that either you can put the stop loss at today's low, that is this point, or yesterday's low, which is this point, or yesterday's recent swing low, which is this point. Okay, now yesterday's low and yesterday's recent swing low are out of question because it will be a huge stop loss, right? It will be a huge stop loss. We just cannot afford that as an intraday trader. So the only option left with us is today's low. What is today's low? Today's low is 602.65 rupees. Okay, let's round it up to 603 rupees. So even if you put your stop loss at 603 rupees, you are taking a stop loss of 9 rupees because your entry is at 612 right here. So you are putting a stop loss of 9 rupees for a 600 rupees script, which is also not practical. So what do you do in this case? Reduce your stop loss to 6 rupees. Okay, for a 600 rupees script, you can very well keep a stop loss of 6 rupees. So put it somewhere around 606 rupees. Right, 606 will be your stop loss, 612 is your entry. We are expecting a target of 618, so our risk reward ratio becomes 1:1. Okay, so once you make the entry and once you place the stop loss, now your job is to sit and wait. Okay, so it went up till what is the high of this red candle? It is 616.80 rupees, sorry, 616.80 paise. Okay, if I would have been in your case, I would have booked my profit. Okay, because I was expecting 618 rupees and it is just 1 rupees 20 paisa below it. Okay, my entry is 612, so I am making a profit of 4 rupees 80 paise for a 600 rupees script, which is fair enough as a day trader. Now let's say, for example, the greed factor comes in and you did not book your profit here thinking that it will go up further. Okay, so you're waiting, it made a small retracement. Okay, so now your support zone is this. Previous day's high becomes a support. Okay, remember that previous day's high very much acts as a support. So as you can see here, it never even came close to the previous day's high. So you know that it is acting as a support. Okay, eventually it went up, again tried retracing, was not able to breach this particular support zone, again went up. I would request you to book your profit here at least. Okay, remember guys, if you are aiming for 618 rupees, nobody will guarantee you that the script will touch 618 or go above it. Okay, so in scenarios when you see that the script is struggling at 617.70 paisa or maybe 616.50 paise, book your profits and come out of the trade. You cannot be stubborn that, oh, I'll book my profit only if it reaches 618. Okay, it might be the case that it came down and it started like a fall started, it came down. Okay, nobody will guarantee that it will reach 618. Okay, so I would say whatever technicals you are following, whatever strategy you are following, if you are aiming for 618 rupees, even if you see that the script is going near to that number, just book and chill. Okay, in this case obviously it exceeded 618 and it went way higher. Okay, but this move, nobody will guarantee that this move will happen. You need to understand that as a day trader. Okay, now let's say for example, another option that you have here is you book your profit here and you take another entry when today's high is breached. So when today's high is breached, this point will become the support for today. So you can make an entry here and then you can see what happens. But again, remember, you are already in profit. So it is, as a day trader, it is very important for you to preserve your profit, to retain your profit. That is how you can become profitable. It is always a best practice not to risk your profit amount. Okay, so if you take an entry here, a long entry here, nobody will guarantee that it will go up further. Okay, it might retrace from here, so you might lose your profit or your profit might get reduced. Anything might happen. Okay, oh, I'm really sorry, I got diverted from the topic. So this is how you trade it. Okay, so I hope that is clear, guys. Okay, so the first thing, let me just quickly summarize it. The first thing is you need to concentrate on the gap up, how much gap up is being given depending on the stock's price. That gap up should be in between yesterday's range. When we say range, that is the yesterday's high and the yesterday's low. Okay, only if the gap up is happening between that range, you consider that to be a valid inside range gap. Okay, so once that is done, you need to wait for the yesterday's high to be breached. Okay, once the yesterday's high is breached, you take the entry. You can take the help of the stop loss buy order in order to be more precise or in order to be more effective. Okay, you can take the help of the stop loss buy order, and once the once the entry is triggered, once your long entry is triggered, you go ahead and put a stop loss. I just told you how to decide on the stop loss depending on the script's price. Okay, and then you wait and watch. Okay, and never ever wait for the exact amount to be reached. Okay, I'm talking about that 618 rupees of target that I'm talking about. Okay, even if you are aiming for 618 rupees and if you see that the script is struggling at 617.40 paisa or 617.60 paisa, just book and come out of the trade. You are in profits and you should respect that. Okay, so this is how you trade it, guys. Okay, so please make sure that you go through many other scripts, see which scripts are matching the inside range gap. Okay, and then backtest it for maybe for a month. Okay, see the offline charts to see how this thing is working. Okay, and then only go ahead and apply it in the live market. Okay, so I hope this helps, guys, and please remember the fact that this is not a strategy. This is not a full-fledged strategy. You need to have some really good observation skills, and if you want to trade the inside range gap pattern, it is mandatory for you to be a bit experienced. Okay, so keep practicing, guys, and make chart reading as a hobby. Okay, if you know what I mean. Okay, and as always, would request you all to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also please join in my Telegram channel, the link to which you will find in the description section. Okay, and I will see you all later. I hope you all will stick back. Happy trading, a very good night. Bye bye.